You are absolutely right. I'm definitely pocket watching.
Damn.
I'm definitely pocket watching because the Small Business Administration published a proposed rule that will fundamentally change the 8 Alpha Business Development Program. And we're basically doing a follow-up from a video I did roughly about a month and a half ago. And if you don't know what the 8 Alpha program is, here's the plain English version that I'll try to give you guys. It's basically a federal program designed to help small business owners by socially and economically disadvantaged Americans that compete for government contracts, set-aside contracts, sole source contracts, the kind of steady federal work that can turn a struggling small business into a real company that hires people in our neighborhoods. For decades, if you were Black, Hispanic, Native American, or even Asian American, the program presumed you face social disadvantages. Do not forget the country that we live in. They may tell you all on the news and in politics that we live in equality and everything is equal. Lies. We understand that. I don't care if you Black, white, Asian, Hispanic, Native American, whatever it may be, you know that can't be true. You know that's not true. You can look at social economics and you can look at the justice system to know that's not true. See, you don't have to prove from scratch that America had put obstacles in our path. You don't even have to prove it at this point. That presumption is exactly what this new rule kills, because under this proposed rule, being a member of a minority group will no longer by itself make you presume socially disadvantaged, right? And a lot of you will say, damn right, that's DEI all the way, wipe away, remove DEI all the way. Now, let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen. DEI never really helped Black Americans in the first place. Did it help some of us? Yes, but not at the same ratio, the same rate, and same percentage as these other groups. So again, a lot of us like, okay, you're taking away DEI, what's new? But again, that doesn't mean that some of us was not benefiting from these programs. And a lot of these other minorities, they're going to find out very quickly. They're going to find out very quickly how this country is and what this country is predicated and based upon. Because instead of every individual applicant will have to submit their own verifiable fact-based evidence of this disadvantage they personally face, and then notice the fine print here. This changed his individual owned firms, the small Black owned businesses, the family shop, while eligibility for entity owned principles like the Alaskan Native corporations and tribal businesses says the same. So the burden lands the hardest on the individual Black entrepreneur. And the comment period on this rule already closed on July 13th of this year. I want you guys to put things in perspective because I don't think too many people know about government contracts. Do you guys know who the richest man in the world is? Yep. You thought right, Elon Musk. Now, a lot of you believe that, oh, he's filthy rich because he used to be part of the C-suite execs over at PayPal. He shared his position there and gathered millions of dollars. Then he went over and built in the founder of Tesla, which he didn't, okay? There was two gentlemen who already owned Tesla. Elon Musk came in with his PayPal money and basically strong-armed them out of Tesla. And now you don't hear nothing about these guys anymore. But if you look into the court cases and you really read, then you'll understand what I'm getting to. And again, this is alleged, and this is my perspective and my belief. But nevertheless, Elon Musk is the richest man in the world only because of government contracts. You can hold me to the letter. You can hold me to that statement. He's only, let me say it again, for the people in the back, for people on a small bus with the helmets.
Are you okay?
He's only the richest man in the world because of government contract. This is important so you understand. This is not about DEI and equality. This is about fair. And believe me, Black people, other people, especially foundational Black Americans, nothing has been fair in this land for us. Nothing has been fair in this land for us. Now, here's where I have to give you the full picture of both sides.
What?
Because that's what we do here. On one side, the SBA and a legal group called the Center for Individual Rights say that this is about ending racial discrimination. Somehow, during the Small Business 8 Alpha program, even during that time that the mediocre benefits that a lot of these other minorities, including Black folk, were receiving, guess what didn't happen between the white and the Black wealth gap? It didn't close. So does it really matter? What are you ending if it never really closed? Are you stopping this for the Asians? Maybe. Are you stopping this for the Hispanics and the Native Americans? Maybe. Whoa. Wait a minute. Not the 500 federally recognized tribe, and majority of Native Americans actually live on tribal land, which is sovereign. They don't pay taxes, but they're funded by tax dollars. So again, I'm very confused at how America works. They say that a race-based presumption is unconstitutional, and they point to a 2023 court case, right? Ultimate Services versus the USDA, where basically a federal court in Tennessee agreed that the presumption violated equal protection.
Okay.
Please show me where this equates to Black people not receiving or receiving these benefits from the Small Business Association 8 Alpha program. And these wildly outrageous numbers that people are referring to, okay? Because again, that case back in 2023, that was a real ruling. And that's their honest argument. But on the other side, the side that wire copy tends to skip, groups like the Joint Center for Political and Economic Studies and outlets like the Word and Black Call, this is what it looks like from the ground. The slow strangulation of Black business opportunities. Because here's the thing about just prove your disadvantage that they state. It sounds fair until you realize it turns into a paperwork process, into a legal obstacle course, bunch of bureaucracy and red tape. And the people with the least time, the least legal help, and the smallest margins are the ones who get filtered out. We know that a lot of these small Black businesses do not have the capital, do not have the money to go and hire a lawyer to go through these proceedings and procedures. And this isn't happening in a vacuum. Look at the trend line. Back in 2025, the SBA admitted only 65 companies into the 8 Alpha program, 65, compared to more than 2,000 admissions over the previous 4 years.
It's huge.
In December of last year, the SBA ordered all 4,300 existing 8 Alpha contractors to produce 3 years of financial documents for review. I wonder if they did that for Elon Musk, SpaceX and Tesla and all these incentives that these car companies and space companies were receiving. I wonder if they did the same thing. Because again, believe it or not, they make all these government programs and then they start to put barriers and red tape and bureaucracy on it. While you see all these other companies, Fortune 500 companies, billion-dollar companies receiving all these government contracts. But nevertheless, in this year, it has suspended over 1,000 of these contracts for not turning that particular paperwork in fast enough. Now, put this rule on top of that stack. You see the strategy here? It's not one that's a dramatic ban. It's 100 small paper cuts, each one defensible on its own. That together bleed the program dry, does it not? And let's talk about what's actually at stake in dollars. Black-owned businesses still receive only about 1.5% of the total federal contract dollars, a silver way below our share of the population of the small business community. Meanwhile, the Department of Defense, or War, whatever you want to call it at the time, alone awarded more than $18 billion in contracts to 8 Alpha firms in 2024. That number may sound somewhat abstract on the surface, but for a family-owned Black business, one federal contract can be the difference between laying people off and hiring 3 more from the block, from the neighborhood. Now, I want to teach you the mechanisms here, because once you see it, you basically see it everywhere. Nobody in power stands at a podium and says, we are ending the program that helps Black businesses. No. Because that's what you're going to say. Well, this is going to affect Hispanics and Asians and even some white businesses. Because when I first gave you guys this story, I reached out and showed you clips from Arkansas or Alabama about white businesses that were receiving benefits under the 8 Alpha program. So it's just not for Hispanic, Asian, or Black people. White people was using it as well. So when they talking about ending discrimination of sorts, how you can account for the white businesses that are getting? You're still the majority of the population here in America. So what in the hell are they talking about?
What?
Instead, they do 3 quiet things, in my opinion. First, they change a presumption, turn an automatic qualification into a prove-it-yourself burden and dress it up in the language of fairness. Second, they crank up the paperwork, order every existing contractor to cough up years of financial documents on a tight clock, knowing that the smallest firm with the fewest staff would miss the deadline. And then thirdly, they simply admit fewer people. 65 in a whole year. Each move is offensible in isolation. A lawyer can stand up and justify every single one, but stack them together and the outcome is a program that still technically exists on paper while quietly starving in practice. That's the playbook. Whether you recognize it or not, and you can't be fooled by it.
Wake up, nigga.
So who benefits? Who pays? Follow it. When you make it harder for individual-owned disadvantaged firms to qualify, that federal work doesn't disappear. It just flows to bigger, more established, better lawyered competitors, does it not?
Yes, definitely.
The wealth that would have built up in Black neighborhoods get redirected somewhere else. And here's the part that connects to everything we talked about on this channel, everything that we go over in this channel. Economic power and political power are the same currency. A community that owns businesses, employs its own people, and controls its own contract is a community that can't be pushed around. Take away the business ladder and you take away the independence. That is not a side effect. For some folks, that is the point. But here's why this one is different from most stories that we cover. You're not just a spectator this time. This is a proposed rule in an open public comment period. And the comment periods are one of the few places where regular citizens have a legal right to be heard on the record before the government actually acts. And the deadline was July 13th of this year. Now, if this program has ever helped you, your family, or a business that you know, or if you just believe the door shouldn't be quietly welded shut, your voice on this particular record actually matters.
Wait, there's more.
And if you want help understanding your rights, finding your representatives, and plug into civic tools, that's exactly why I created ourvoicevote.org. It's built for us. It's built for people who want to know the truth, and it don't cost you a damn dime. And let me pretty much make this very, very concrete, because file a public comment can sound like homework. A public comment is simply a written statement you submit to the agency on the public record saying what you think about the rule and why. By law, the agency has to consider the substance of what comes in before it can finalize absolutely anything.
You're not wrong.
You don't need special language. You need to be specific. Who you are, how this program touched your life or your community, and what the real world consequence of this change will be for people like you and I. When thousands of ordinary people put concrete, lived experiences on the record, it becomes part of the legal file and becomes a whole lot harder for anyone to pretend nobody objected.
Look, I know you're stressed out, but don't worry about it, because here's what's going to happen.
That is the power hiding in the boring paperwork, and almost nobody uses it. So this weekend, we either be too late or not, before July 30th, because like I told you before, July 13th was the deadline. And again, they do these things very secretly. They do it very quietly, so people don't have an opportunity to respond.
Toxic.
But again, ladies and gentlemen, I don't care if it's out the deadline. If you're going up for government contracts, I will still write these letters to the SBA 8 Alpha program, to your senators, to your Congress people. And we need to put our name on these records. So here's the big picture. They're not going to announce this with a big speech, because they didn't. They're going to do it in the Federal Register on a Friday, late afternoon, while you're driving home in traffic, or when you're trying to get off and go somewhere for the weekend. And they're going to put it in language designed to make you scroll past it. Our whole job is not to scroll past it. These stories, the contracting rule, the jobs report, the health cuts, they're all connected by one thing. You already know what I'm about to say. Power. It's about power and who's allowed to build it, who's allowed to benefit from it. So I want you guys to leave your thoughts in the comments, hit that like button, subscribe button, and share this with a business owner who needs to know the clock is ticking and unfortunately already expired. But again, I will still give it to July 30th. And I'll see you in the next one.